really happy you're all joining us. So above me is the 1970 Concept Corvair. We have two different views, two different versions. And the version on the right, this on the left actually, is similar to the version that we used as our convention logo for our mini convention that's going on right now in Springfield, Illinois. Tomorrow is William Wynn's Fly Corvair Day, and we're all going to the Shelbyville Airport and via a road rally. And well, everybody's going to have a good time. Tomorrow night, they're coming back here for a cookout at the museum. So we're going to have a fun time. Sorry you're all not here. We're having a great lot of fun. The rain moved out. It's been sunny, so we're having a great time. So, like I said, the 1970 Concept Corvairs, a couple of artist drawings that we have above us. So on our left, be your right, this is the 1964 Chevrolet Cutaway turbocharged engine that went to the New York World's Fair. It's our understanding that there was 10 versions of this prototype car engine. So there's another one at the Clearfield Museum in Pennsylvania, and it's in a totally different enclosure. And one of the guys coming to the convention tried to bring it to us and was unsuccessful because it would not fit in his truck. So it's a lot bigger format. So this is what we have. This is one we got from CCE years ago. Pete Kaler got this from General Motors for CCE, I believe is the story. Anyway, we now have it in the museum, and so we're taking good care of it. So it's a fine exhibit. It works really well. But we do have another one, and we're going to go get it cleaned up, and we'll probably reloan that to another museum that doesn't have any Corvair stuff. So we're trying to spread our brand around so more people across the country can learn about the Chevrolet Corvair. Okay. We're going to zoom back here. To our engine display area. We have a transaxle on display. So this is the inner workings of a Corvair transaxle. This is how it works. You got an input shaft, turning the axle, and there's your gears. Now we have been here since 2019. We did survive COVID. Brian worked all the time. I kind of did too. So we slowly but surely are getting our museum together. But anyway, we have some prototype engine displays. This one is a crank version. So you can see the pistons move up and down and the alternator spins, and it gives a pretty good representation of what the inside of a Corvair engine looks like. Now, all of you know what it looks like because you've been into yours 1,000 times, right? So anyway, we have an oil filter display that we are trying to get some more walls for wall space, but we're going to get there. We have a lot of different Corvair oil filters made by different manufacturers over the years, and so it's quite a collection. This is a prototype Corvair engine with one carburetor for every bank, but it was designed in 1961 to help the head gasket problem. It was proposed for 1964, never implemented. The one and only left, that's correct, yes. Those of you that know Pontiacs, our display's a little off, but that's okay, because this is the rare Pontiac 8-lug wheel on the Grand Prix and Bonnevilles in 64, 63 and 4. This is the Corvair version, and they were donated, and we're not sure where they really came from, but General Motors was trying to do a concept, and then they didn't run, they didn't run with it, so it wasn't ever put into production. So we have some other early displays. We have more signage to hang, but we have our 3 Chevrolet carburetors right here. A 3-barrel, yeah. And then next to that, we have the Super Manza, the 1960 car, Bill Mitchell's daughter's car. It was fully restored by the CPF years ago, and we have it here and our neon sign and all the signage when the car was restored. It still runs and drives. We took it to Pittsburgh, and we'll probably going to take it to some other events across the country. So it's not too good to let them set for years and years. So anyway, we got to keep it so it doesn't leak too much oil like every other Corvair. You know how that goes. And our clear engine lid that went with this Super Manza on display here.
I can't get a good zoom on that one, sorry.
So anyway, you have to come to the museum and read those letters. So that's really true. Next to us here is a 62 ramp side, and it's kind of a utility vehicle. So we have a little bit of variety of different cars that are in the museum, cars and trucks. So everybody that comes and visits us, from Harley bike clubs to everybody else that doesn't know anything about Corvairs, they get to see a good cross section of all the different vehicles Chevrolet produced under the Corvair banner. So this one's restored. It's a 144 speed, and keeps right up with them semis just fine on the interstate. So, and the more weight that's in it, the better it rides. Okay, moving on around. See some of our signage. We got different wall hangings and stuff. We have on loan from Alan Bristow, a 64 camper van, complete with the awning, and has all the camping features, even your famous ice box that takes blocks of ice. So Alan brought this to us, and so we could put it on display here. It's a real conversation piece, and everybody enjoys looking at it. So we appreciate him letting us borrow it for our display. So like every museum, we have our, we have our storage area, and we have places that we have to put stuff. So when Brian spins his camera around, we'll give you a peek at, everybody sometimes wants to donate some parts to us, but actually we don't have a lot of room. But this is our storage area. But I will take the opportunity to plug our latest venture. We had boxes and boxes of old communiques. So we have them all sorted by volume and years, all on shelves. We're selling these for $20 a set through the Corsa website, and we mail them to you for free. So they're 20 bucks a set. And we have most all the issues, and we have quite a few of most of them. So there's a few that, we don't have a lot of, but we have quite a few. So anyway, you can see all the communiques. So I love shipping these things out because there's a wall back there and we haven't seen it for a long time. So anyway, so it's a good thing. So this is our storage area, and we need a stretcher, but we need to stretch our storage area. This is the Land Speed car. It was donated to the museum 4 years ago by Tom Kiyosabian from Oregon, and it did 173 plus mile per hour, and it's a twin turbo propane powered Corvair, slightly modified, but as you can tell, it's a pretty nice showpiece, and it's very, very loud. It does run, it does start, and there's a startup video of it, and we have it, and we keep saying we're going to come over here some Sunday and start this car, but we haven't got that done yet, but we're working on it. So we have some more signage, some great new photos we got from a fellow in Colorado. We've just got them framed and hung on the wall. Right here we have the Corvair Race Car. Used to belong to Warren Levesque before he passed away. Warren donated his car to our display for as long as we wanted it. And so I think it's going to stay here for a while because it's really a showpiece. And it's
Stuntwork car. Did the Pikes Peak hill climb.
Pikes Peak hill climb. Yep. And then we have a Finch Sprint that was restored by the CPF a few years ago. And a lot of the folks in Detroit and across the country had something to do with restoring this car. And it was, you know, kind of put away, and we tried to gather everything about 2016, gather all these cars, and we put them in the museum in Decatur for a couple of years, and we found a better deal. So we moved, and so that doesn't cost us as much. And we have a little bit better access, and we're on US Route 66, a wonderful place to be if you're in the museum business. And we're right near Abe Lincoln's hometown. We're in the center of the state, so you can't miss us. We're on exit 82 on Interstate 55. Yep. Yep. Okay, what Brian did say that. John Finch did sign this card, signed on the engine lid and in the glove box. So it's an original showpiece, and we're hanging on to it. This, folks, is your last Corvair ever built. The 1969 Corvair body, serial number XXXXXX. Should have been 6001 with a few preceding numbers, but Chevrolet never wanted it, and Fisher Body built it. And then they said, what are we going to do with it? So luckily, they didn't just crush it. So it went to a museum in Texas for a while. Rusty Rose got a hold of it for us and helped us get it for our Corvair Museum. So we appreciate all of our members helping us get these great artifacts, because without them, we wouldn't have a museum. So, okay. We have a few of our trophies for the different Mitchell Award, Corvairs that are original cars. All the Corvair communiques are in these old parts manual things that you would love to have in your garage, maybe. So, you know, there's more time not, you need that old Delco service manual for something, and you don't have it. So it's like, where's that parts store when I need it? We have the Don Yenko jacket that he wore when he raced, and that's an original piece. It's a 1 of 1. So it's pretty rare.
Signed by Donna Mae Mims as well.
Correct. And Donna Mae Mims also has a display here created by the Pittsburgh Club, Western Pennsylvania Corvair Club, with her Donna Mae's helmet and her boots and her lunchbox. So they created this beautiful display, and they've done a lot to help the Corvair Museum. So great group. Right here we have, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of our workbench, you know. This is a Corvair Rocker. This is a front seat out of a 66 four-door 500. And one of our members picked up this car, changed it, put bucket seats in it, gave the seat to his neighbor because he says, oh, I think I need that on my front porch. So then he sat out on his front porch for a few days. And then he says, well, I think it needs to be a rocking chair. So he built rockers under it. And then after his wife tripped over it a few times, I guess, he says, maybe Mike wants it in the museum. So we have it right here, the Corvair Rocker. So now right here is a 1923 Chevrolet air-cooled 4-cylinder engine. This engine came out of Florida. Jerry Brown, our Corsa vice president, was very instrumental in getting this for the museum. It is actually a Delco light plant, and it runs on gasoline. You're supposed to keep this cover closed, and you're supposed to grease this valve train once a month. So this was used at a Chevrolet dealership in Florida. It ran their lights in their showroom and their parking lot for many, many years. It just sat in the parts room and ran. So anyway, so they basically cut the cords, the AC cords from the generator, and put it on this stand, and we now have it. So pretty rare piece. So we have not made it run yet. Next, we have the Corvair Limousine. Many of you have seen this at different Corvair events throughout the years. It was custom made by Don Filkins. Don recently passed away, and so we miss him a lot. We have some more signage and things for the limo, and we went to get this at his house, and it was kind of unique to load because it was a very long car, and our ramps were too short. So it was kind of fun to load. This limousine takes up the entire length of a car trailer. So we winched it in and the door barely closed on the back. So it took up the whole thing. So it's a beautiful car. You know, Don says, oh, well, you know, you could drive it some. You need to put some brake shoes on it. So, but anyway, we haven't driven it much and we haven't put any brake shoes on it yet, but it's in the rotation program. We like to keep them all operational. So our dream was to have the Corvair Museum and the mini convention, and we could take people limo rides, but we just flat ran out of time. So I know none of you have that problem. Right here, we have a Corvair or a Manza Jr., and it's on loan from Eva McGuire. It was all restored by the Jesuit College, I believe. And so it's a really nice showpiece. So we have it on loan from Eva, and it's quite a conversation piece for the people that come and join, you know, enjoy the tours. Everybody loves this thing. Actually, a few kids want to take it out and drive it. But anyway, that was Laurie Claypool today driving his. You might see the video tonight somewhere. So anyway, he drove his on the autocross track. So they still run. They're quite the piece. Back in the corner, it's the 1969 serial number 5999, the last surviving Corvair, because number 6000 has never been found. So it's in their museum. It does run and drive. It went to, let's see, a couple shows recently. So it's been out and about, and it's got all the oil seals dried up. So right now it's not dripping any oil, but give it time and it probably will, but it's okay. But it's a nice piece, So, and someday number 6000 will show up. We just don't know where or when, but Eva's on the search for it. She'll find it. So this is a 1968 car, customized and built by Mr. Artsberger, and it's on a museum piece now. He donated this to us. So it's a 180 turbo, very nice car, custom paint and the whole bit. It does run and drive. So we're on Route 66. So we have 2-lane blacktop right outside of our front door. So you know what that means. We're supposed to drive these things up and down that road. Yep, this is Mr. Artsberger's book that he wrote, How to Hot Rod Your Corvair. So anyway, a history and restoration guide. This is the guy wrote the book. It's his car. Quite a popular item. So this is a 1960. This is a air-conditioned 66 Corvair Corsa convertible, one of 6 ever built by Chevrolet, factory air, in a Corsa convertible. So the engine bay, we can't get to it with the camera, but it's pretty packed, as some of you guys would realize. And we have this experimental engine right here with a 1 barrel for each cylinder. I'll bet this thing gets a whopping 5 miles to the gallon, and 5 gallons to the mile, as Brian says. Correct. So anyway, it's another prototype engine. It was a custom, and we have it on. It's here on display, so it's really a nice piece. Draws a lot of interest. Then we have some just regular cars that you would drive. So we got a 65 convertible. That's just a 110 automatic. And the story of this car was, it had a tree growing through it, and my son wanted a Corvair. So I told Brian, I says, you know, if we could make it stop and go, we could probably take it home and restore it at auto body class. So that's what we did. It stopped and went, had a tree growing through it, and drove it home like the Fred Flintstone. You can see the road. So anyway, it's a little bit nicer now than that. And we have a 65 Corsa 140 Coupe. There's a lot of these around, a few of them anyway. So, and then we have a 62 Manza wagon with bucket seats, custom cloth interior. It's a really nice driving little wagon. pretty little peppy engine, and it right now doesn't leak any oil either. So we're doing good. Next to that's a 62 turbo Spyder Coupe, number 627 off of the line, that was built as the first year of production of the turbo car. So it's the documented number 627 car that was built. And it's all restored, and it does drip oil. Next to that is a custom one-of-one Chevrolet Corvair tow truck. Started life as a 62 ramp side and was customized by Richard Boxdorfer in Bethalto, Illinois. It's been to many conventions, and it's been our tow truck. So, and of course, you know, when the boat was stuck in the canal, the tow truck got it out of the way. So that was good. That worked out well. So, and Brian's riding the bike behind us. So maybe that'll work. That's good. This is a wind test model donated to us by Harold Dexter in Detroit area. And this model was used to test the wind to build these Corvair vans and trucks. So Harold didn't have a lot of history with it, but what we've read so far is you could take this part off, and then you had the equivalent of the ramp side for the air, for the, you know, testing the aerodynamics of the Corvair truck. So it's kind of the test model for the 64 Greenbrier that we have sitting here. That does run and drive occasionally. Okay, so down on our fireplace, we have a mystery in plaster. This is a plaster. It's a plaster mold, and it was donated to us a few years ago. It was found, and so it's now on our mantle. And we have some early artwork of production.
This is actual patent design.
There's patent designs that were blown up and printed. These were some of the stuff we got from all of our friends in the Detroit area that helped us gather all the Corvair Museum stuff up. So a big hand to Eva and Pete Kaler and Pete Cimbella and Ken Hand for helping us get it all together. We were quite the crew that weekend. So, well, we got it all done. So that was good.
This bicycle here, I was trying to write it.
So now we have a Corvair bicycle. This came from one of our friends in the CCE Chicago Club. And I don't know where he found it, but it sure is nice. It's like brand new. So, except it has a flat tire on the back. So it hasn't been ridden much. But Brian tried a while ago, yeah. But a Corvair bike, so kind of neat. Then we have a 65 Corsa convertible right here with the dark green, the saddle interior and the saddle top. And it's a pretty nice driving little car. It made its debut at the CCE convention in 2019. It was a fresh restoration at that show. So anyway, it needs to be driven some. And if you guys got any secrets about how to get those white walls clean, I'm all ears, because I can't find anything that'll clean them up. So all suggestions are welcome. So anyway, it's a 144 speed car. And it started as, it's been nice. My oldest son started this car, bought it from Bill Pearson in Murfreesboro, Illinois, brought it home and hung some fenders on it, did some stuff to it, and says, okay, I'm done. I don't want to work on it anymore. So then we put it in the tent garage for about 20 years, and then we dug it out and started over. So anyway, so it turned out really nice. Nice cars. So we'll take some questions if anybody's got any. Jeanette's got any questions from anyone? We still got some time. Yep.
That if people have things they would like to donate,
Oh,
how do you go about taking donations?
for anyone that has things that they have to donate, we're a little bit selective because we don't. You saw our storage room. We don't have a lot of room, so we don't need a field full of cars. We have to be kind of particular on what we do take for our museum donations, but unique things are very good. You kind of get an idea about what we have. Everything is pretty much up. We don't have anything in storage. What's there is duplicates. So anything that you have that's Corvair related, that's unique items. One gentleman's going to send me a Corvair yardstick. It's like brand new condition. And we don't have one of those, so that's great. It's a little advertising things that the Chevrolet dealers did. We're all about that. That'd be really nice to put in our display cases. So we have some little exhibits, but we need more. I'm going to give Brian the microphone a minute. He's going to talk. Be right back.
Everybody, many of you don't know me. I'm Brian Nicholson. I'm the assistant curator here. I'm the guy that helps out Mike in the museum. Unfortunately, I'm not retired yet, so you won't find me here during the day. However, if you do come through town, you'll actually run into me at night. I might be the guy that actually tries to dress up like one of the GM executives to come give you a tour. So you kind of got to laugh a little bit when I show up. At least please humor me so that you know, don't make me feel stupid. But if you're going to do the part, you got to play the part. But one of the things that's my favorite object on most of the tours that I give through here today, and I know if Eva's on the call, she's actually responsible for getting this for us. And this is a Cecil Cooper line badge. Cecil actually put together the very first Corvair in the back room of the Chevrolet division. Actually, he assembled it by hand. Eva knows more about this story, and you'll find the actual article in the communique. But what was donated to us when we opened this museum was his actual original pilot line badge. And I really wish I could zoom in on it for you, but it is, you only see it here at the museum. It is the only one known to exist because Cecil was the only one known to put it together by hand, the very first car together by hand. So unfortunately, Cecil passed away and left us before he was able to come, but his daughter brought the line badge down. Eva got it all set up for us, and she came and cut our ribbon at our initial opening 2 years ago. But this is one of the most unique stories that I've ever heard, and it was just fantastic that they held on to this little bitty piece of memorabilia that we find is really important. This kind of stuff is so neat for our museum to be able to hang on to. I love telling Cecil's story. He seemed like a great guy. We also have had another member come and talk to us, and his name is Joe Casey. And I'm going to try, we get the reflection off the glass. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get Joe's actual line, his information or his picture, and his other items here are going to be kind of really hard to get. But Joe actually donated to us his, I wish I could pull this, man, I'm really bad with this camera, but hold on. This right here, you'll only see it here at the museum. My finger's going to point at it. Is Joe Casey's manager's badge that he used to wear on his shirt, actually, as he was the 69 assembly room supervisor. So he handled all the assembly of all the 69 cars that came through. And one of the funny things about it is I look at this is actually a picture behind that of him and the other executives at Chevrolet at the time. He happens to be the youngest one there. I sometimes think that maybe they were done with the Corvair and just shoved it on the new guy down at the end. Mr. Casey came and spoke with us, did a fantastic job. I think Eva arranged that as well. And he actually left us with some of his memorabilia as well. So these are items that we just love having here at the museum. It's not often you'll see a Willow Run assembly badge with the actual Chevrolet emblems on it. And so, you know, you'll only see that here. I love these things. At least I'm pretty sure you'll only find his item here at the museum. The Chevrolet Corvair, most people don't realize, but Chevrolet had companies compete actually for a tire contract when the Corvair came out. We actually have the display from BF Goodrich and from Uniroyal, and you'll actually see two of the original tires that were part of the competition to get the actual contract with Chevrolet and the tires that were competing. I actually kind of like that story too. The Corvair was so unique, it actually needed its own unique special tires. So you can tell that this BF Goodrich one right here on the front is a little bit different. Look at the size of the white wall that's on it. That was actually an original proposal. And so I love the stuff that comes out of the design studios. And it is the original tire for the Super Manza, and they were added on to the Super Manza. So those are some of my favorite items, along with the John Finch, the demonstrator car that Mike showed you already. That was his official car. That was the one you actually went to the dealership and drove with him. And we also have got a lot of Corvair neon that's been donated by other clubs that I do like to show.
Hey, Brian.
And
Hey, Brian,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of questions I'll turn over, I guess, to you since you have the headset on. And I did get a question, how come Brian didn't have a headset? We tried, but technical difficulties before the call, the headset stopped working.
I had one headset. So
Yeah.
Mike's the senior curator. I'm the assistant curator. That means I get to clean the floors and I get the headset second.
Yeah.
So that's how it works.
Okay, so one of the questions was about, will any of the show cars, like those that we're seeing at the convention this week, for example, the John Glenn, Carl Sagan type cars, be staying with the museum?
Right now, we're trying to keep things rotating through. The worst thing that you can do with the museum is let it become stagnant. So we like to bring things on short-term loan. I believe that the John Glenn car, not the Carl Sagan car, but the John Glenn car will be staying with the museum for a short period of time. So you'll have a small window of opportunity to come on down and see us and actually still see the John Glenn car. The Carl Sagan car is not part of that, only the John Glenn car. I'm not sure how many, is it several months? I think it'll be here for several months on special display. It'll be here as the centerpiece, obviously, of our museum during that time, and then it'll go on back. The John Glenn hometown is going to have a John Glenn Day. It would have been his 100th birthday in, is it New Hampshire, I believe? New Hampshire. And so the car will be going back to New Hampshire for John Glenn's 100th birthday in his hometown. So it's only going to be here for a little bit, for a little while.
Okay, and we have another question. What happened to all the GM experimental and show cars that used to be on loan?
Mike could probably answer that better than I can, but they're back with GM. They're at the Heritage Museum in Ypsilanti, I believe, and up in Michigan. The cost association with trying to get those down to here to even to our conventions has been rather cost prohibitive. GM in the last few years has really became where they charge quite a bit of money in insurance, what they call insurance writers, in order to be able to bring those to a convention or to show them in a museum. Unfortunately, Corvair owners are notoriously cheap like myself, and we don't like to spend a lot of money to bring something like that when they start talking big dollars. So a museum like ours that works on a shoestring budget really does not have the capability to order like the Manza SS show car from the Heritage Museum and have them bring it out and bring it down. We would love to have it. I know at one time the North Carolina or the Virginia, when the museum was there, we showed the electric car, the Electrovair 2. I grew up looking, I'm a second generation person, and I grew up looking at the communiques with those. Would love to get those back at some point, but I don't see that happening in the near future unless we're able to work out a little bit better agreements with General Motors.
We have a special request. Could we see the Doug Rowe, Bill Thomas car in detail, please?
Try this. Mike's actually gonna open the hood. Michael Levesque, if you're on the call, we promise we'll try not to scratch it. But this is actually the trunk of the Joe Thomas car. You'll actually see its fuel cell, dual master cylinder. Thank you very much. You'll actually see the actual power pack is actually relocated to the front of the trunk, and the firewall is completely custom. So this is a very unique build. Remote frame oil filter over there on the side. I'm assuming that's a remote oil cooler actually in the front portion up here. So it does have the remote oil cooler in the front. The passenger compartment is rather sparse if you've ever been inside of most of the autocross cars. This one here is even, let's see if I can get in here with the camera here. This one is actually extremely sparse. It does have a Spyder dash located in it and a removable steering column. That's pretty cool. And you can see actually the doors and everything are actually been remodified for weight. And in the back, there is no back seat. It is actually all just sheet metal down. And it looks like it might have possibly have intercoolers actually on the back floorboards. The back end is an interesting piece of engineering feat. Let's see. I don't know if we can actually get it off of here, but we'll try. It won't, I don't know if it'll pull. Can you hold on to this for just 1 second? Here, Mike, I got it. And we can show, am I close? I hope I'm not bumping his car. All right. I'm actually going to hold this on my foot so it don't scratch up on us. And we'll actually find the customer in for quick change engine removal is actually back here in the back. The firewall's been actually cut out on the back portion of it, and you can actually remove the actual drivetrain out of the rear of the car for quick engine changes.
And ask the next question. It's actually the last question. We got it in through email earlier. They wanted to know, how do you go about visiting the museum? Do you have standard hours, or is it appointment? What's the best way to come visit the museum?
Well, the very odd thing about the museum is Mike and I moved most of the stuff over here along with members of the Prairie Capital Corvair Association and other members of Chicagoland and some other people that came to help. We actually moved everything over here in November of 2019. And as everybody knows, in February of 2020, COVID broke out in Illinois. We were actually shut down. The museum was unable to be really entered or worked in between, February and November of 2020. So it was by appointment only. Basically, you could only get a few people, 2 or 3 people in at a time, mask only. We didn't want to cause any problems for the, the obvious facility owners or anything like that. So right now, we do have a contact us number, and I'm going to turn it back over to Mike because Mike is the actual person that actually handles most of the reservations. So right now we're open by appointment. We would like to actually have some daily hours, and we're going to try to get some of our retired members, local members of our local club, to actually give us some hours, a couple of days a week possibly. But right now, if you want to come see us, we'll give you a special tour. We'll walk you through. Just either email Mike Hall at mike.hall@frontier.com, or you can call him at 217-494-7105. And we ask for usually a donation, a fair donation of $5 just to be able to come into the museum. It helps us keep the lights on and helps us be able to, handle that. If you'd like to become a member of the actual CPF Foundation and actually get a museum coin, which is really pretty cool. I think we're still giving those away right now. Not many left. So if you got to hurry, get in now while you can. The Corvair Preservation has a PO Box 68, Maple Plain, Minnesota, 55359. And that's the Corsa main office as well. So if you look it up in the communique, it's the Corsa main office. And we want to tell you that every time you check the little box, we want you to know what your money's going for. When you check the little box that says, hey, on my Corsa dues, I'd like to give $5 to CPF or something along that lines, you can see that your money's being spent, in such a way. And that's why we love this. I love the idea of this format. We'd like to do this more often, maybe a little podcast or something like that when we get a new item. And we hope to bring this. This is your museum. Your money's funding it as you give us, items or donations. And we really do appreciate it, and it is being well cared for. This is a passion, I think, of Mr. Hall's, and I believe it's a passion of mine. You'll find me here quite a bit on the weekends. So we spend a lot of time and effort. So we hope that you enjoy it. Please come and see us. If you want the tour with the Chevy exec guy that shows up and plays the part, that costs a little bit more. I charge for that. So, but it is possible that, I'm thinking about renting that out more often, but you never know. I may just show up that way.
We have another question, but before I go to that, I just want to point out to the group, this is my first time, and you might have seen a man walk behind me a few times. My husband's here with me tonight as we're doing this, and it's our first time here. We were at the museum in Decatur, and this is really, really nice. Just beautifully laid out, lots of fun memorabilia, artifacts on the walls. It's really a nice job. And I want to emphasize something that I think you've heard a couple of people say. This is our museum. Obviously, many of us don't live locally, so we have a lot of passionate people in this area who are making this happen for us. So when you're checking that box to give a little extra money, I agree. It's very well spent here, beautifully done. And we gotta, because we can't be here in person to help them, it's nice to give a little financially to them because we want the legacy of our cars to live on. And I heard Mike say something that I love to hear, which is the Harley bike riders drive by and they stop in to check it out. Other car people stop in because it's such a fascinating car. So having our mark, have a museum that people who don't know much about our cars stop in, it helps us grow our visibility and grow our brand among car collectors. So I love that. We are here on Route 66. So with that little advertisement, let me add a couple more questions real quick here.
Question about the Chicago.
Yep, they asked about, do we have the Cutaway engine drive train? Was donated from Group Corvair. It was not a turbo. It started life as an early model, and at some point Chevrolet updated it to be late model specs. Any comments about that?
That might be the one that's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Very possible.
I haven't seen it yet, so I got to go get it. So
Well, somebody out there might be able to check it out for you, Mike, and let you know.
yep.
All right, cool. Did I get all the, oh, there was one here about Disney Animatronic. Are there any plans to put together a Disney Animatronic of Ed Cole? We have Ed Cole right here behind me. I'm not sure with all the volunteers we have doing this, if we have the skill set to put together a animatronic of Ed Cole, but
Nope.
no, I would guess there are no plans to do that, but we do have a beautiful portrait of him right over my shoulder here. So.
Mike, you might tell him that portrait has to be cut down when we brought that in.
Yeah, I know Brian's not on mic, but I'll say Brian said, hey, you might want to mention the portrait had to be cut down to get it delivered here and in here. But whoever did a nice job with it.
We had it framed for the convention in Sturbridge, no, in Kalamazoo. So we had it framed for that, and we had the Super Manza there, and we put it on display at that, and we brought the Super Manza back, and that framed photo all in foam wrap in the trailer because it's so large that's the only way you can haul it.
Well, we've gotten some positive comments here thanking us for doing this. I'm going to say on behalf of the folks on the call, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Brian. I'm going to say it again. We are just a little ragtag group here of volunteers that are not professional videographers, and yet we had a wonderful video presentation. We're kind of stretching the limits of Zoom here. I'm glad everybody could watch and enjoy it. For those of you who are planning your vacation, come on through here, and we will have another meetup next month. I'm working on a topic for that. If you know of presenters who would like to do a meetup, I hope you see we're casual. We're a family of Corvair people, and we're friendly to present to and be a part of on these meetups. So spread the word. We'd love to have some other presenters too. But once again, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Brian. Great job. And thank you all for coming on. We'll talk to y'all soon. Okay. Bye.